Hello everyone, welcome. This is Frank Castillo, the host of our Friendly Speaking program. So happy that you're here with us today. Looking forward to a very good discussion. We have a very special guest with us today by the name of David Pérez. He is the Classroom Teachers Association president. We're looking forward to hearing his point of view. And as we've always discussed in our program, we always try to be as factual as we can. At the end of the day, it is also our opinion. So we have that right as well as anybody to express what we think is the things that we need to talk about and discuss. But again, without further delay, let me introduce you, Mr. David Pérez.
Hello, everybody.
David, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. One of the reasons I wanted to bring you is because I know that you go speak many times, especially with our local school board, UISD. Why do you do that, David?
Certain issues come up that I feel it's necessary for me to speak out on. I don't speak at every meeting, but when I do, I do speak. Things affecting my teachers, and one of my big passions is, say, like health insurance. I've been, since I started at United ISD in 1999, I've been a member of the Employee Benefits Committee. That committee looks over our health insurance, our dental, our vision insurance, and we adjust rates as needed. But we try to be as economical as possible, not put so much of a burden on our employees.
And that is one of the reasons that I wanted to hear from you, because as we get started also, I'd like to let the public know a little bit about who you are, a little bit about your education, your background, what makes you well versed in the topics of public education in Texas, actually.
Right.
Public education is very critical right now. Tell us about yourself.
Well, I earned my bachelor's and my master's degrees in accounting, and I started working at what used to be Union National Bank, what's now Wells Fargo Bank.
Wells Fargo. Yes.
I worked there for 20 years before I made the career change, and in 1999 I started at United South and then moved to United High School in 2006.
So from a Panther to a Longhorn, huh?
Correct.
That's a transition there.
But I always wear maroon. I'm the Rebel Aggie.
Oh my God!
I'll wear the Tennessee orange, but not the burnt orange.
There's something there, I'm sure. But
Yes.
for our purposes, you have your education, your background. You've been a teacher since
1999.
99. So
And I'm teaching business, accounting, and those related subjects.
what's happening at our public education and specifically about UISD? What's going on right now?
Well, first, in general, since COVID, we have seen fluctuations, unexpected fluctuations in our population, and
Student enrollment.
right, and that's how we get our funding.
Yeah.
That's how we get our funding. When we have our enrollment way up, we get the money and we can sustain our employees and operations and stuff like that. But we have noticed, and this is contrary to popular opinion, this is not unique to UISD. This is
That's
statewide.
right.
We have lost, the public school system has lost something like 76,000 students, either being homeschooled, going to private schools, or just leaving the country.
That is one of the things that I have always also looked at, and that's why I agree with you energetically when I said that's right. It's because if you have to look as an individual, as anybody out in the public, they have to actually start looking at what's happening across the state. It's not unique to UISD at all.
Well, there are those people that say what's happening does not apply to us. It does apply to us. Okay, we were projecting to have 43,000 students, and we're 39,000. So that 4,000 times $6,000 a head, you do the math. That's many millions of dollars
I mean, it's,
that we've lost in revenue. And again, this was something that was not really anticipated. Then COVID came along. I mean, and I was on that bond committee in 2013. We were busting at the seams, and we needed to
classrooms.
We were in portables, and that was just costing us lots of money that we could use towards salaries and stuff like that. So in 2013, we passed a $500 million bond issue to help build elementary, middle, and ninth grade campuses.
One of the things I remember about that, which I was not in office at that time, but I recall now that people here say, almost sure they mismanaged the money. Why are they building schools? We have to go back to 2013. You can't look at it now and say at 2026 it was wrong to do it. You can't do that type of thinking.
Think of it like doing a weather forecast or a hurricane track. The further out you go, the more uncertainty there is. Take Friday for instance. Here we are, it's going to be hot and whatever, and then it gets to Friday evening and all of a sudden now we're getting dumped on with rain.
Yes.
That just came all of a sudden. And you look at a hurricane track, like I said, here's the hurricane here and the cone of uncertainty. The further you go out, the wider it is because we don't know that far out. We have an idea, but we don't know the whole.
I hear a lot of people, and I do watch sometimes the board meetings. I try not to, quite frankly, I try not to. I really just go on social media, try to look at what people are talking about. And there's a few who have a question like, and to me, it sounds a little bit silly. I don't mean to rebuke anybody. I'm just saying when they claim, why didn't they stop it? Why didn't they not build the schools? Why didn't they just do it then? Why are now having to go back and close schools? And my answer has always been, it was a law that was passed that the bond election was in fact what the public wanted, and you cannot go back and circumvent that anymore.
The voters, the citizens voted for it. They said yes, go ahead and increase my property taxes to pay this off. Now, I will say on the bond issue, I think we've done a very good job of keeping the interest rate low at the time, refinancing where we can find a better deal. And the increase to the property taxes has been about less than half of what we were predicting the increase in property taxes. So I think UISD has done a good job with that. Again, it's at that time we needed it. We were growing and growing and growing. I mean, I remember when Delmar Boulevard was the northern part of town. Now it's almost like the center.
Exactly.
And we're going to the north. We're growing a lot to the south. That's why I believe if I heard right, LBJ High School will now be our biggest high school.
Population-wise.
Enrollment-wise, yes. And United, where I'm at, is now going to be the smallest high school.
Absolutely.
But there's still a lot of, over there by United, there's a lot of places going up. It's just, are people moving in with children and stuff?
Well, we
like
seem
that.
to, I mean, people will say we have a growth, and I've been one of the outspoken ones too, that believes that particularly Divine Mercy Catholic Church area, Sontera, has actually seen quite a more residents. Residences there, and so you wonder, like, why are we? And let me get to this other point of school closures. Is there not a better way, David? Is there not a better way than the school closure? I guess.
Well, I wish that. To me, I wish there was another way to do it. But if we're not using it, if our population is shrinking, and some schools are not being used to their fullest capacity, say they're only 50% or 55% full, it's, you know, it might be necessary to consolidate and then spread the students out to other schools. It's, again, it's not unique to UISD. It's not unique to UISD.
You have made that point very well at our board meetings when I've heard you speak during public comments.
Mm-hmm.
And I see that you are well versed in a lot of this topic, maybe better than a lot of people who might even be sitting on the board. I'm going to be honest with you.
Well,
not to be critical, but I do have to say that.
Right.
I said sometimes I've been one of the few people who say, don't listen all the time to what's being said at the public comments. But then I actually do hear some very good things when I can attest to it, like, that sounds good. But, you know, sometimes we just have to call it the way we see it.
Well, I like to not be blind to what's going on, but I like to see, I see the glass half full, while a lot of people see it 3/4 empty. And they seem to be rooting for us to fail.
Yeah.
I mean, we're trying and trying. I know that administration has been doing their best to cut expenses, and you've seen a lot of meetings and the reports and all that. I'm sure there's probably still more to do. There was more that I wish we could have done. We actually had, I believe, at the behest of the board, we had a focus group of business people, citizens, people that were chosen by the board members to attend this meeting. We came to a consensus as far as school consolidation, school closures. Unfortunately, when it came time for the superintendent to present to the board, it was a board item, he was cut off, and I think that's unfortunate.
They tabled the item, if I recall.
I think he started to talk about his food stuff, but see, we could have made a decision in March, but at the behest of one of the board members, we had this focus group. So we did the focus group. Now here comes the focus group, the report, and you know, we don't want to hear it. Yeah. Because it wasn't going to be it wasn't going to be what people wanted to hear. And there was a lot of you know, back and forth, you know, the effect on the students, effect on the parents, transportation, stuff like that. Kids that age are resilient. They really are. They go to the next, you know, in elementary, you go to the next grade level, you're going to have a new teacher.
It happens already.
It happens already. Yeah. And you know, what about my friends? Well, some of your friends may come with you, or you're going to make new friends. Then you start getting, you know, into the middle school, and you have different teachers and different people in each class. You're not, you know, not everybody's going to go from class to class with you, and then high school, you know, even more.
Well, the matter of school closure is something that I prematurely brought up. You know, it's really, again, something that's happening throughout the state. It's school closures are rampant in many places across the state.
Right.
And so,
right.
You know, we're just feeling the effects, and we're going to have to do something about it.
Right, and school districts are dealing with these deficits. You know, we've had our $40 million deficit, or, you know, whatever. Austin ISD, $181 million deficit, yes. And they're trying to avoid, academic-wise, they're trying to avoid takeover coming in. Yeah. I think they tried to get some charter company to run it, but the state said no. So, you know, it looks. But I mean, we're not in the situation that Crystal City was in, where they only had $500 in the bank account and payroll coming up. We're not there yet, but a lot of districts are running big deficits. San Antonio, Corpus Christi, Austin, Dallas, Fort Worth, El Paso. It's all over in the valley. It's again, it's not unique to UISD. It's not. How can I say? I know the word mismanagement has come up. I don't like that word it's just, we got caught up again with COVID, ESSER funds, hoping that we'd get
exemptions, residential
and
exemption.
hoping we'd get the enrollment, it would tick back up, and then now vouchers have come in.
Vouchers.
Right.
Quite a few topics, I mean, that we could be talking about but it would just take a whole lot of time to go through a lot of them. But, some people like vouchers, some people don't. But at the end of the day, we're talking about public education. The one thing that we all share in common with our neighbors throughout the city, throughout the state, throughout everywhere. Public education needs to continue.
Let me say something about that, public versus private. Public schools have so many programs that private schools do not.
Mm-hmm.
They have especially, we have our magnet programs, our early college. The people in the private schools will not be able to take advantage of that. Also, I worry about students with special needs. I don't believe that the private schools have the certified personnel or the personnel to handle special needs students. I don't think that really severe special needs students would be in a private school, but some of the other academic parts, it might be difficult for the private schools to handle that. I mean, my oldest was a special needs student, and he got very good support from the district. Graduated.
And the resources.
Right, he got the resources. Graduated in 2014 and has been working with the district. And that's something that I thank the district for giving somebody with special needs the chance to earn some money.
Excel
and earn some money.
I hear you, and that's one of the things that absolutely is a benefit for the parents out there who still wonder about what they're gonna do if they ever come around to closing my area, my schools. It's not something the district wants to do. I can assure you that.
No, I know they don't want to do it, but when businesses, I mean, it's a business, and we're not here to make gazillions of dollars, but we're losing millions of dollars, and we just can't sustain that anymore.
The math or the accounting is the business component. The rest, academics, is really the teaching method and some of the other things, right? So I would say that I would agree that there's a certain part of it because of money is involved, accounting is involved, the finances is involved. That kind of gives it a business, but believe me, it doesn't always deal with numbers. It deals with people's lives, student life, family life,
Correct.
Things like that. So it has to be tempered. And by the way, that's another thing I was going to share with you. As far as board members and things that, sometimes they have a negative view of, the glass being half empty or half full. There's temperament also.
Right.
Like you and I, we're discussing things.
Right.
We don't always agree, right?
Correct.
David, you and I, but we have that temperament to be able to hear each other out.
Some of my best friends are people I don't agree with all the time, whether it's politically or whatever. But I have, when I became president of United CTA in 2013, I made it a point to go to all board meetings, and I've seen board members, they may disagree. I mean, you're not going to have seven people that rubber stamp and agree on everything, but I have noticed lately a lot more division, and it's, we don't have, maybe it'd be 6-1, where now we're getting 4-2, 4-3, not
a consensus or a majority. Well,
it's a majority,
there,
yes, but
the
not
consensus.
it's been very, very, like I said, the divisions are there.
I don't know if it actually gets to some acrimony, literally, literally gets to be like very upsetting to me, because I'm looking at the people who represent us, and I wonder, like, geez, come on, tone it down, you know.
What also doesn't help, and I've kind of butted heads with some social media groups that put stuff out there that may not be complete information or not even accurate information. I'll give you an example, and this goes back to going to every board meeting. In 2014, TxDOT came to the board and said, we're gonna widen the loop. This is back in 2014. We're gonna widen the loop. You're gonna have to get rid of the
Central kitchen.
Food production.
Food production.
Well, negotiations went on and whatever. And then finally in 2024, the day of reckoning came. Okay. Now, I'm not privy to what happens in closed session. Of course, it's a real estate deal. But okay, we negotiated. The board and the lawyers negotiated with TxDOT. And when the board members came out from the closed session, one of the board members, she said, "May I make a comment?" Looked at the lawyer, and the lawyer says, "Yes." So I can't tell you the amount, but all I can say is the building of this new facility, which is behind the Walmart on Clark, off the loop, there will be no effect to fund balance. No effect to fund balance means it's not going to cost us a cent. Now, there were social media groups that were saying, no, there's something going on here. And they actually put out a document that showed, I'm not going to mention the numbers, but the numbers were there. Like, we were getting draws from TxDOT for the construction. Okay, they were paying for everything, land, construction, everything. Let's just say, I'm just going to make up a number. Let's just say $50 million. Okay, and we need $1 million. Okay, 50 million minus $1 million, your new balance is 49 million. Okay, again, but there was something's wrong. Another example is a piece of land out on the Mines Road that the district is looking at selling. And how was it that we bought it back in 2000 whatever for $2 million, and now it's only worth $700,000 on WebCat? I just made one call, and they just said, we have it classified as like farmland or cattle, so it has that. But I mean, we're not paying taxes on it. But we, in the transaction to get that piece of land, there's the report from the appraiser, valued at $2 million. An appraiser's not going to risk his or her license to lie about the value. I mean, lie substantially. Right. I know sometimes I can kind of like move it up a little bit, move it down a little bit, but not from 700,000 to 2.5 million.
So the market value is
the market value. That's the market value.
That's it.
And I said, what's on WebCat? Like I said, I just had to make one call to WebCat. But again,
well, I'm glad you did that, because I was aware of everything.
But the social media was trying to put out there that we did something underhanded.
We meaning the district, the school district.
That they spent $2 million on something that was only worth $700,000. That's how it was classified on WebCat. But
I understand exactly what you're talking about.
And like I said, we have to deal, and we're dealing with that right now with all this budget stuff and whatever. There are people that come up and make points about spending and budgets and this and that, but then there's also the nitpicking. Everything from a meal for Chick-fil-A or something, to I don't know.
It's not going to break the bank.
It's not going to break the bank. I mean, you're picking at the wrong things. Let's look at the big thing. Let's look at salaries, whatever.
Well, look at the funding. Look at the funding that we're getting.
Yeah.
And my understanding, what I know right now, as an ex-board member, but what I actually do know, I also have a background in public administration, so I
Correct.
have an idea how the information gets transferred from one entity to another.
Mhm.
And so when I do look at things as subjectively as I can, I try to make sure that the information is reliable and objective. And that's all we can try to do. But yes, I do know that sometimes people throw out some words out there that's really is misleading.
Words or numbers, again.
Or numbers,
I am not, I'm not one who automatically like, yes, my district, my district, my district. But I will defend my district. I will defend my health insurance plan when, you know, when it
Well, you have the
when it's
knowledge.
necessary.
You have the knowledge again and the
well,
information.
that's
and the
going to,
background.
and that's going to all the board meetings and such. I make it a point. I don't get paid for this. I don't. You know, my association doesn't pay me to do this, but I do it because I want to know what's
Well,
going
you're
on.
like the board members. The board members don't get paid either.
Yeah.
People don't. They always say, you know how some people stand up there. We pay your salary.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we don't get a
So
salary.
you don't get paid.
But the board members know me.
Yeah.
They know I go up, you know, oh, here comes David Pérez, he's gonna speak,
Yeah.
you know, let's hear what you have to say. And I have heard, you know, we like what you say and whatever, you know. And I've like I said, I've had to go kind of against the grain sometimes on back in 2013 or 14, we weren't gonna get a raise, and we were gonna increase the premiums a little bit. And I was with another association. You all can figure it out which one. But I went up there and I defended. Actually, the superintendent at the time kind of whispered to me. He knew I was going to get up and speak, but he said, "We're going to cover it." I went, "Oh!" So I had to change my whole speech on the fly. But the people from the association that I used to be with didn't have very kind words. People were telling me they were whispering bad words,
bad
maldiciones.
I want to bring you over to another topic because
Okay.
you know we've said about public education Texas, but locally compensation, some needs for the lack of student enrollment, the lack of funding at our local school district, our partner school district. But not only that, the county and the city just went through some revisions to their own compensation package.
Well,
so it's affecting a lot of people.
Right. The city, health insurance costs are going up. I know you were showing me something from ERS.
Yeah, ERS.
You know, there's those premiums are going up. The city, like UISD, was losing money on their health insurance, and they just raised their premiums 15%. They actually wanted to do it, and they're still going to lose money. They wanted to raise it something like 30%, and they said no, that's too much. Okay, but 15%, they're still gonna lose money. And this is it's not the best timing in the world, I know, but the increase that we're gonna have is just to break even. Now we made some adjustments to our plan design. One of the things that we've done is lowered the copay to visit your primary doctor. We want you to go to your primary doctor. We want you to find out things early rather than later. What you know, in our culture, the two big problems that we have are high blood pressure and diabetes, and those are silent killers. We don't find out until it's too late. We used to have a screening program called Catapult at our schools, and on 2 occasions, they'd be there like, "Mr. Castillo, you're going in an ambulance right now." "Why? I feel fine." "No, your blood sugar is like 700 when normal is 100. Or "Mr. Pérez, your blood pressure is like 200 over 150. You're about to blow up." You know, we catch those. You know, we catch those things early. We can treat it early rather than, "Why am I going blind? Why am I losing limbs?
Or why am I going to an emergency room that's going to cost us, because we're a self-funded
Right,
program.
that's another thing. We're self-funded, and one of the issues that the employees don't understand is the standalone emergency rooms. I'm not going to name names. I can't do that. But the standalone emergency rooms, they're out of network. There's one that says you're not going to have to pay anything. Yes, but they bill our health insurance plan. We're the piggy bank. We're the piggy bank, and they bill us out of network, and that's costing us. If you're going to go to the emergency room, there are standalone doctor's hospital, LMC emergency rooms. You don't have to go to the main building, but you go to the emergency room not for a cold or whatever. You go to the emergency room because you're going to be admitted to the hospital. Otherwise, go to the clinics that are in network and take care of your, you have a cold or a sore throat or whatever. You can do that there. But if you need to go to the emergency room, go. Here on McPherson, there's a LMC emergency room. They'll take, and your $500 copay is waived if you get admitted to the hospital. So don't be afraid. If you need to go to the emergency room, you go to the emergency room. But like I was talking to a friend of mine. Oh, I take my children to blank freestanding emergency room. I said, no, you're costing the district tons of money. And
you're out of what
out of network.
Out of network. That's the word.
But and another thing that we have to deal with, just so you know, is one of the things that hurts us. I mean, but it'll happen. Is say like somebody with cancer. We had, I'm looking here, $6 million to treat cancer patients. Okay, I have a friend who's going through cancer.
It's just
right
one
now.
year, one budget year, calendar year, or
from September, from the beginning of the plan to March, $6 million. It was $3 million the year before.
so when
So it doubled. It doubled. Not that we doubled the number of patients.
and that's coming out of the budget of UIC.
And
It doesn't
anything-
come from
right.
the insurance company.
And
or anything.
anything that's above premiums comes out of the general fund. So again, we're making this adjustment that I know some associations, no increase to healthcare premiums. Okay, what's your solution? We're losing, the last 3 years, we've been losing $3 to $5 million a year. And let me say this, and you were on the board for one of these years. We have, at the Employee Benefits Committee, we have tried our darndest to not pass on premium increases to the employees. The board has been very generous in taking some of the hit by increasing their contributions. The last 3 years, they've been adding $50 a year for the last 3 years at $3 million a whack. That's $3 million the first year, then $6 million more. So that's $9 the first 2, and then $9 the third year. So it's $18 million that the board has generously contributed. So our premiums don't have to go up. We haven't had a premium increase since 2020. Before that, from 2010 to 2018, we didn't increase premiums. Okay, the board absorbed it. Okay, but unfortunately, and this is, like I say, bad timing. We have to pass this on. I don't think the board.
But it's everywhere. It's
everywhere. No, it's everywhere.
The city,
It's
the
everywhere.
county.
The city.
Let me pause you for a minute. I need to check something on the camera. Okay?
Okay,
You're still live.
I'm still alive. Hopefully, we're recording. Okay, but like I said, the Employee Benefits Committee, we're doing our best.
Let me give you a little bit of a background of what I've been through
Mhm.
myself, because I thought it was a really good idea. I worked for Webb County for 8 years
Mhm.
after I retired from the state, and one of the things that they were pressing on is we're gonna have to change insurance plans. We're gonna go to
XYZ company.
yeah, because we're self-funded and we've been losing a lot. Now we can maintain the self-funded if we do certain things.
Yeah.
And the first thing they told us is, don't go just to any provider. Go to the in-network provider. That's why we have that plan, and you can take care of everything you need to do. And if you need to start early, you need to start doing the things to check up on time, early.
Let's catch the things early. Do your wellness checks.
That saves us the money. And county did a good job. They had a person, I think it was from risk management, went to all the departments in the county. And I remember listening to it. I said, well, why are they doing it? And it kind of sounded like ugly that they were telling us, how to take care of ourselves. It wasn't really that. It was just like, hey, we're just trying to help you save money so we can save money as a whole.
Right.
And at the end of the day, that's what we are at UIZ. We have to consider the whole picture, not just individuals.
Right. And there's a term we've been using, self-funded. There's a difference between self-funded. It's self-funded, we're the piggy bank. We just use the we use the Blue Cross network of doctors and such, but we pay the claims versus fully funded. We were fully funded early in my career with UISD.
David, I know that we have a lot of things to talk about, but I want to get on some more topics.
Okay.
You mind me interrupting you?
Go ahead.
LISD just recently said they want to shut down our tax office. In my book, it looks like that is not the proper management because it just might not be saving the district what they think is going to save them at the end of the day. And not only that, they're literally just telling the employees, we're going to get rid of you unless we find a place for you.
Well, I believe the Pérez, they found jobs from. I think there were two professionals. I was watching that board meeting. I think there were two professionals that were left in limbo, and that was the thing. Now, I know that I'm saying, well, they did it. Why don't we do it? I think
that there were some comments that were very critical of UISD. That's the other thing I was going to mention.
Well,
I didn't particularly.
We're not UISD. We're not. Well, that's
I
true.
don't know where they're getting a narrative that seems like, hey, it's time to kick UISD. Don't look at us.
But
kick over there.
But LISD is already starting to have. Okay, they're cutting their expenses away because they know they're losing enrollment. They're landlocked. Okay, they're landlocked. And I don't think you see a bunch of young couples going in there having kids and whatever. I grew up a half block from Lamar Middle School.
Okay.
From Lamar Middle School. And I don't think there are that many young couples having babies. Yeah. So that's going to be a problem for them. I think it's more than what they're saying as far as losing enrollment.
What I saw, and I was watching it, I'm telling you folks, I don't watch this meetings too often. I have a life.
No, I did watch that.
But that one just intrigued me because I thought it was very important to watch and see what they were going to do. Because it could set the tone for what they're looking at in the future. So employees of LISD, it's time to really reconcile what you're doing, because I did not like some of those comments, and I'll take it personal when they say we're not UISD. No, I know you're not, but why are you throwing that out? Stand on your own. Stand on what you believe in.
But going with the tax office thing, I know that there's some people out there on social media talking about what they did. Maybe we ought to look at it.
Exactly.
It would not work, in my opinion. It wouldn't work for UISD. One, LISD gets their funding from the state regardless of their tax collections. They're a poor district. Okay, our funding from the state will be affected by our collections. Okay, we're collecting 95-97% of our property taxes. The county does not have that kind of a collection rate. Okay, so let's say they go down to 92% or 90%.
So it's lower. It's lower for them.
Lower collections. We're losing tens of millions of dollars, which we can't afford to lose right now.
Right.
That's number one. Two, my understanding is the state will come at us and say, you're not collecting your tax, you're not trying hard enough to collect your taxes, so we're going to penalize you even more. And then also the access to our money. Oh, we need this money, this tax money now. Oh, well, we'll get it to you at the end of the month. No, we need it now for cash flow purposes.
Yeah.
It's so I'm not really in favor of closing our tax office. I don't think it would work. I really don't think it would work. You think we're saving that building, those salaries. No, you're not going to lay those people off. You're going to absorb them in.
And if I can get philosophical, be honest with you, David, well, I'm always honest with you. What I want to say is, your view is very well expressed. My view has always been public administration.
Mm-hmm.
And my philosophy is the last person you ever get rid of is an employee. That's just a no-no.
Right.
You go to any public administration class in any university, will tell you the last thing you do is take a hit on the employee. You
Right.
can benefit salary maybe or some benefit, but you never get rid of anybody. And that is what I just say it should have not have been done.
Right, and well, let me say something. In the 27 years that I've been with UISD, good times, bad times. One time when the oil prices came crashing down and we were going to lose all that money because we get a lot of revenue from that. COVID, we have never riffed. We've never riffed.
Exactly.
But if we don't do what we need to do to get things under control, I'm not saying it's out of control, I'm just saying I know there's maybe more efficiencies we can look at or more decisions that need to be made, that if we don't do it, then we might have to start riffing. Now, like I told you, we had that focus group. The results were never able to be presented. It got tabled, which was a shame. We had a good discussion in that focus group, and we came up with some recommendations. Now, you can go to the UISD website, build United for the Future. You can look at the current presentation by the superintendent. The phase one was the closing of Matias de Llano and Pablo Gutierrez. Then phase two involves 2 more schools, but that would be after this upcoming school year. And then phase 3, I think the United Middle 6th grade campus, and I forget if there was another one in there. But I mean, we have to be proactive, not reactive.
I think they have the right tone. Again, being able to work also with other individuals, whether the public, but more importantly, really the group of 7 that's there. In my view, what I've learned from experience, David, is you really have to be able to negotiate with each other. And if you can't do some of that because you're just so
Stubborn.
I was gonna say stubborn, obstinate. Maybe it's
obstinate.
Where it's only my way or no other way. That can hinder people, and that can hinder and affect us. Not necessarily you, us, the people that your constituents. And I'm gonna be honest with you. It's not an easy thing. Let's be honest.
You were there.
When you're a board member, it's not an easy thing. But at the end of the day, you represent all of us, all our point of view, and you hope that you represent yourself in a way that's also reflective of who we are, which is we're generous, we're helpful. We also want to extend a hand to everybody. We don't want any child not to be educated. So at the same time, I want to be able to work with you so we can make sure we meet those needs and those goals.
The board members need to work it. Now you're going to have your disagreements in any relationship. I mean, I've heard if you don't disagree once in a while, something's wrong. That's that. I don't want rubber stamping or just everybody just says yes, say yes. If you have, I've always said, like, if you're opposed to something, state your case. You may be outvoted.
Then what do you see in a year? What do you see? Look at the.
That's the million. That's the.
In 5 years, what are you seeing?
That's really way out there.
Yeah.
I see that we're still going to have to make some tough decisions this upcoming school year.
How are the teachers? Your group, the people you represent. What do they tell you?
Well, one of the
I don't think we covered that
right.
enough.
Well, one of the things was, we're going back and forth. Close, no close. Do this, do that. The salary, this, that. All my teachers were just like very, very on edge. Okay, I think there was a lot of anxiety with the lack of certainty. That's the thing. Lack of certainty.
Lack of certainty. Yeah.
We should have made this. The decisions that they made should have been made really maybe a month before, so we could be ready. Again, I think we, at the request of the board, we did the focus group, but it delayed decision by a month, and then in the end, it's so the focus group didn't exist.
I'm going to be clear. I really think that one of the things that should have not have happened is to throw out those names of the schools so early when we had not yet actually explored everything. I think that just brought a lot of concern for people who are teachers or staff. No, you got officers, you got paraprofessionals, you got everybody involved, and not just educators.
Well, I know that when I had to do some after May, I had to do some business at my campus, and just talking to people there, they said, we don't know what's going to happen. Am I going to lose days and stuff like that? They didn't know. Fortunately, the paras, the secretaries, and they were not, they're on-campus personnel. It was the agreement they made was, as far as days, was to the non-campus personnel. So it doesn't affect those people at the the custodians.
To my point, David, is that I didn't think it should have been publicized yet. Think about it, look at it first, and then you can more consistently tell people. But there were leaks.
Yeah, there were leaks.
I don't know if that was just political gain or what to do that. That's.
I think I will say, speaking of leaks, I think our sister district was sitting back. They're having their problems too.
Yeah.
They're just not. They're keeping it, I guess, close to the vest right now. Let's see how UISD does it, and then
that sister always lays back. The sister's always calm.
Yeah.
One last thing, or anything. We're almost done with time, Dave. But anything that we didn't cover that you think is important that we share with the public?
Well, support our schools. I think we have good programs at UISD. If you haven't registered, we have online registration, and there's a lot of, if you're having trouble getting on, our Department of Admissions, that they're having admissions fairs this summer. We need to get everybody in. We want to know what we're looking at as far as enrollment, because that does affect staffing, schedules not just for students but for teachers. What classes is David going to teach? Well, we don't have the enrollment for you to do this, and that. We may have to have you teach this other stuff or whatever, where we have the enrollment. So go out there and register. Public schools are number one, and we have a lot of advantages over the private schools. I'm not knocking the private schools, but I think again, we have magnet programs, early college programs, athletics, fine arts, those kind of things that I don't think you really have over there that would help to make your child well-rounded. Also, our special ed need departments. We're there for your kids with special needs. Again, I went through that with my oldest, and they did a good job.
My child also, one of my children went to UISD, so I know exactly the amount of time and effort that our educators put. And lastly, I really just think that you were just right. Support our schools, support them. sure, you have a time to critique, as I've
Right.
always said,
And you-
but you want to be able to work in a positive way.
And you have choices with the vouchers, but I mean, unless you're having a completely horrible, terrible experience, stick with the public schools. Stick with the public schools. Private schools are great in some ways, but you know, I just think that public schools are the best bang for your buck.
Gotcha. I couldn't agree with you more. I really enjoy being supportive of UISD. Now that my granddaughter is in UISD, I also have an idea and a vision that it will get better. And my hope is, yes, in maybe a year, 2 or 3, 4 years down the road, the enrollment's going to go up because it's not going to be like this all the time.
And we have students graduating, scholarships and going to
Major universities. UT maybe?
No, not the, I'm an Aggie. Going to A&M. No, in fact,
I'm teasing you. That's all
I
I'm
know.
doing.
No, but to go to medical school and engineering and business schools, stuff like that. Now, also, not everybody is college material. I'm not doing that as a negative thing. One of the big avenues for a lot of these students is vocational. You want to be a diesel mechanic, you want to be a welder, an electrician. There are tons of vocational schools. I mean, look at a diesel mechanic. They can make 6
Do you
figures.
still have AC or refrigeration at United High School? Because I know
I
used to know
believe yes, we have
instructor.
yes, we have HVAC. Yes, yes,
right?
we do. Yes, we do.
You can have a starting point there.
Right, and we have FFA. You don't have that at the private schools. You don't have those vocational programs. You don't have CTE programs, that's my department. Like I said,
Career and technology.
career and technical education. Yes, it used to be CAT,
oh, yeah,
but they
that's right.
changed the thing, so it's CTE now.
Well, I tell you, I'm not reading or seeing all the meetings, but I try to keep up.
Right,
And
right.
thank you for helping me out there.
Yeah, sure. But again, I when I go up and speak, which is not all the time, I don't like to just talk for the sake. But when I do talk, it's something important,
Exactly.
and I try again to see the glass half full. I'll call out the district when I need to, but I like to be positive, and I receive criticism for that, and it just whatever. If I didn't like being a teacher, I wouldn't be here 27 years, and I still want to go a few more years
Gotcha.
before I retire. I love it, and there's good days, bad days, there are challenges. Oh, Francisco is misbehaving today. I have to call mom and dad, whatever. But being in banking and customer service, sometimes, I'm not afraid to call parents. Oh, thank you for calling me.
Well, my training is a little bit different with criminal justice, but we'll let it rest. But
and,
we would
right, and we have in CT we have criminal justice
criminal
too,
justice. Yeah.
and we have medical.
It's about following the rules to me. It's always about following the rules. There's rule for everybody, starting with the board members. There are rules. And I don't think we covered that. I mean, we could sit here talk 2, 3, 4 more hours.
We could.
But we can't. We really have to say.
But the people want to hear.
We'll probably continue talking to you later.
For another program.
Yes.
Let's see how we get through the summer. We do have certain deadlines. I know Miss Benavides and her staff, they're working on the budget.
Exactly.
The principals are working on staffing. We'll know, we have to come out with a budget by August 31st because our fiscal year starts September the 1st.
September 1st.
But we'll start getting, we've had our June meeting and we have July and August, and they'll be having workshops. So we'll get an idea of what's coming up and
what's coming up next year in legislature.
Yes,
a lot of people who talk, go to the boards and do public comment, they should be up there talking about it.
I do feel that parents should go over there, and I know I know that the teacher association that I'm with, Texas Classroom Teacher Association, they are the top rated lobbyists up there. They're the ones, hey, your TCTA, come on in, let's talk. You know, we want to hear what you're going to say. So we'll be having regional meetings with TCTA this summer, and I know one of the things that we will be pushing on there is, hey, restore our funding. We didn't get the funding, the per pupil funding that we needed. We need to get that funding. We're not keeping up with inflation, and that's hurting us. I mean, it was like a measly $50.
I'm going to end it, David, but I'll tell you this much. Your group of educators are fortunate and lucky to have you.
Thank you.
You're doing
Thank
a great job.
Appreciate it.
You're doing a great job. And I appreciate your explanation because you taught me some things I didn't and wasn't aware of. So I think...
Well, everybody can learn. Like I tell you, when I was dealing with the social media groups, I by doing some research, I learned certain things, like why the food production is not costing us a cent, literally, and
Gotcha.
with the land and stuff like that.
Well, we spent quite a few minutes here with us, and
Almost an hour.
Almost an hour,
Hey,
which is a little bit longer than I normally do.
But we lost track of time. But we're having a good frank discussion.
Frankly speaking.
Frankly speaking.
Well, I'm going to close this out. David, I appreciate you being with us today. Thank you so much. I'll close it, and I normally don't say this, but because of the circumstances that we're discussing, particularly our school district is united today, tomorrow, forever. Thank you very much.
Thank you.